Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Ooh, I seem to have lost your attention rather quickly there. Hold on, can we get some stimulation on the, yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about your rapidly diminishing attention span. So recently I started a new job, and naturally one of the requirements of that job is that I, pay attention. And I found that if someone is not directly engaging me or giving me something juicy to latch onto, it's nearly impossible for me to pay attention for a sustained period of time. Now, the reason why this is interesting to me is because I didn't used to always be this way. As a kid, I used to be able to sit in a classroom for hours on end without access to a cell phone and actually pay attention to whatever the teacher was trying to teach me. But at the ripe age of 23, I seem to have completely lost that ability. Now, obviously, this is not an experience that is unique to me. Recently, there have been people all over social media commenting on how they have realized that their attention spans have drastically decreased over the last couple of years. And most of the time when people are talking about this, they point to short form content as the culprit, and usually they're referring to TikTok. But I think it's more complicated than just saying that short form content is making our attention spans shorter, because it's not just the length of the content that is affecting our attention spans, it's also how that content is being marketed to us. Now, if you've watched my channel for a bit, you may know that I'm not the biggest fan of TikTok, but I would be wrong if I tried to deny the inherent genius that is embedded into the TikTok algorithm. The TikTok algorithm relies on a psychological concept known as random reinforcement to keep its users engaged for an indefinite amount of time. And all of this is driven by dopamine, which is the neurotransmitter involved in reward and pleasure. Basically, to explain this concept, when you're scrolling on TikTok, you have no idea what's going to come up next. It might be a funny video that'll give you that little dopamine hit that you are so desperately seeking, or it may just be something random and boring that you scroll past and don't even think about. This variability in content is what makes TikTok so addictive. Because you don't know what video is coming up next, you are more likely to stay on the app and keep scrolling for a chance to get one of those little dopamine hits that I mentioned earlier. In fact, this is the exact same concept that is used in casinos. When you engage with a slot machine, you don't know what result you're going to get. There is a small chance that you could win, aka get your little dopamine hit, but an even bigger chance that you will probably just lose. This is what makes gambling so addictive, and the same goes for TikTok. The fact that you don't know what's going to happen, but there is always a chance that you could get your desired outcome, resulting in a dopamine hit. Since the explosion of TikTok in 2020, short-form content has completely taken over the internet, and nearly every social media platform has added a short form video feature to mimic TikTok's. And one of the most important parts of TikTok's interface is the For You page, which offers the user an endless stream of algorithmically curated content. What more could you desire in this beautiful life that we are all living together? This feature is crucial to TikTok's success, especially when you compare it to its short form predecessor, Vine. Now, I know that Musical.ly is technically the predecessor to TikTok. You don't have to educate me. I was there. I know that it used to be Musical.ly and now it's not. But Vine predated Musical.ly and was the first short form video platform to really get popular, so we're going to be talking about that. So Vine was a fun social media platform, but it wasn't nearly as addictive as TikTok, and that was because of one crucial fact. You could run out of Vine. Vine was active between 2013 and 2017, and at the time, algorithms weren't nearly as good as they are now at pinpointing your exact interests, so most people just relied on the following page when they were getting their social media content. Because of this, if you were scrolling on Vine, at a certain point, you would catch up to where you last left off, and you would run out of content and have to get off of the app. But now, because social media platforms rely almost entirely on recommendation-based algorithms to feed their users content, we are essentially just fucked. These infinite recommendation algorithms have found a way to effectively manipulate our brain's reward center to capture our attention for longer and keep us scrolling essentially forever. Because when you are on TikTok, you don't have to make choices. You don't have to choose who to follow. You don't even have to like posts if you don't want to. All you have to do is scroll, and the algorithm will watch you. It will watch how long you spend on a post. It'll see if you scroll back up after skipping it, and it will use all of that information to find out what you like, to pinpoint your interests, and to find out what makes you tick. Let's bring the conversation back to attention though. Have you ever actually sat down and thought about what attention is? What makes it so important? Well, if you haven't, you can rest assured that advertising companies, marketing agencies, big corporations, and essentially anybody who wants to make money off of you definitely has. We are currently living in an attention economy, which means that human attention is treated as a scarce commodity that, if captured, can be used to accrue massive economic benefits. Now, human attention can be considered a scarce commodity because there are A, a limited number of humans on the planet, and B, humans can generally only pay attention to one thing at a time. Many of us will argue that we are great multitaskers and can pay attention to multiple things at once, but this just isn't true. There is a common narrative amongst Gen Z that not only can we pay attention to multiple things at once, but that we thrive doing so. However, this is just an illusion. Research shows that when you are multitasking, you aren't actually doing two things at once. You are just flipping between two tasks very quickly, but you're never actually paying attention to both of them at one point in time. It is very easy to trick our brains into thinking that we are multitasking and that we are good at doing two things at once, but neurologically this just isn't true. And to make matters worse, there are a million things on the internet to give your attention to these days. It used to just be TV, music, radio, maybe books, but now it's TikTok, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Netflix, Reddit, Twitch, 4chan. I don't know. I probably missed a bunch of other irrelevant social media platforms that we waste our time on for God knows why, probably just because we have a dopamine addiction, but you get the point. And in my opinion, the thing that makes social media even more sinister than traditional television are the recommendation algorithms that are propelling it. If you want to watch TV, then you have to make a choice as to what show you want to watch. But social media will often make that same choice for you. If you log onto any social media app, it will immediately start showing you content, giving you content to choose from, and doing anything in its power to hook your attention for the maximum amount of time. And like I said, if you are lending your attention to social media, even if you're just browsing, then you are inherently not lending your attention to anything else during that period of time. So why am I harping on this so much? You might be thinking, okay, yeah, when I go on social media, I am choosing to pay attention to social media. I am choosing to give up my attention. If it's my choice, then what's the problem with that? But is it really your choice? Are you really in control? Social media aims to give the user a pretense of control, when in reality, the user has almost no control. We feel as though we can control the social media platforms that we interact with, that we have some control over what we see in our feed, what we choose to engage with, but this is largely untrue for social media platforms that rely on recommendation algorithms to feed us content. And the alarming thing is that we often talk about our own social media feeds as if they are somehow a direct extension of our personalities. Remember in 2020 when there was that big debate about alt TikTok versus straight TikTok, and everybody was breaking their backs to affirm to the universe that they were on alt TikTok, not straight TikTok, as if being on one side of TikTok or the other was some sort of integral part of their personality, something that would actually describe their individuality in the context of the universe. You know, as if what type of TikTok you engage with, as if that matters. But our social media feeds are not under our control. It benefits social media companies to allow us to think that we are in control because it makes us feel safe, makes us engage with the content a little bit more, but it's really not true. Content is being fed to us. That is why it's called a feed. We don't choose what we see. We only choose what to click on. And in the case of TikTok, we aren't even given that choice. Our only choice is to continue to scroll or to get off the app entirely. Our only choice in life is what we give our attention to. It is the only thing that we can control. We can't control the world around us, what others do and don't do, how they feel, even how we feel. But what we can control is what we give our attention to. And that is what shapes our reality. So the fact that we now live in a world that is hell-bent on controlling our attention for the maximum amount of time possible, and now has the technology to pinpoint our interests better than we even can, is terrifying. Because if what we pay attention to shapes our reality, then whoever can control our attention can control our reality. And if we spend most of our time giving our attention to a social media app, whatever that app may be, then we don't control our attention. The app does. The algorithm does. And whoever controls the algorithm can control us. Now, what I've just said may sound very scary, and yes, that is on purpose, because I think that we should be a little bit scared about this. The thing about humans, though, is that when we are scared, we try to find ways to explain the things that we don't understand. And I can tell right now that you are actively trying to find a way to explain social media in a context that gives you all of the power. You are trying to discredit what I've just said because it's scary. And I know you're doing this because I've done it, and I still catch myself doing it. And you're probably thinking, how is this any different than the past? How is this different from television in the 80s 50s and radio in the 40s, and books have been around for centuries. The theater has been around for thousands of years. All of these activities require us to give up our attention, to lend it and put it into somebody's questionably capable hands. So what makes social media, what makes today so different? And I would say that the reason why this is different than the past is due to the ubiquitous nature of social media. Entertainment used to be a scarce commodity. Only those who had money could read and buy books. To go to the theater was a treat, something that cost money and wasn't readily available at all times. TV didn't used to be infinite either. There was a point when channels signed off, the TV went dark, and you just had to stop watching TV for the night because there wasn't anything on. There wasn't a 24-hour news cycle, and the TV was in your living room. It wasn't in your pocket. You couldn't take the TV to the toilet with you. You couldn't hide under your covers until 5 a.m. scrolling on TV. You couldn't take the TV with you in your car. You couldn't take it to school, to work, etc. But now, social media is free and available for your viewing pleasure 24/7 on your iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, smart fridge, laptop, television screen, or other participating mobile device. Now, it is so easy to give away your attention that you can do it for every second of the day without even realizing that it's happening. As soon as you click onto a social media app, you are being manipulated because they want to keep you on that app for the maximum amount of time possible. That's how they make their money. You may think you have control over what you see on the app, but you can only see what is presented in front of you, and what is presented in front of you is not your choice. And the real kicker is, the more time you spend on social media, the more you're gonna crave it. You become accustomed to constant entertainment to the point where you can't even go to the bathroom and wipe your own ass without having a TikTok playing on repeat in the background until you finally finish and can wash your hands, pick up your phone, and press pause. You know, so that you can scroll to the next TikTok. You expect to always be entertained, stimulated, rewarded with your little dopamine hit, so when you are asked to pay attention to something that doesn't pump you full of happy juice, you lose interest within seconds. You can't pay attention. You don't want to. You feel uncomfortable, and most of all bored, because you're an addict. We all are. And I think the fact that social media relies on dopamine to drive engagement gives the false impression that social media somehow cares about making you happy. A lot of people associate dopamine with happy. I mean, I did say it was the neurotransmitter involved in reward, but that's not always such a linear correlation. A social media app doesn't give a flat shit about whether or not you're happy. It only cares about showing you content that will keep you there so that you'll keep watching more content. And if showing you something that makes you unhappy, makes you sad, anxious, makes you, hate yourself a little bit, if that's what's going to keep you on the app, then that's what the app will do. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter associated with reward, but that does not always mean that it is released in pleasurable moments. Have you ever fallen down an internet rabbit hole of anger and anxiety that you just can't seem to get out of? You're not really enjoying yourself, but you just can't stop looking and searching for more content. You wish you could get up and do something, literally anything else, but for some reason you stay put, ass planted in the chair, and just keep scrolling. That is because dopamine is being released as you fall down the rabbit hole. Dopamine is being released as you find what you desire, even if what you desire is what's killing you from the inside. Now, let's not ignore the inherent irony of this video, in which I aim to capture your attention for the maximum amount of time, while I'm talking about how social media platforms try to capture your attention for the maximum amount of time, usually for some sort of monetary gain. I think as a content creator that I have an interesting perspective on this topic. I'm not immune. In fact, I probably spend more time on social media than the average person does because I aim to conquer it. But unfortunately, in my desire to grow my YouTube channel, I must become the villain. I must try to capture your attention for the max amount of time, and it's best if you don't realize that I'm trying to do that. I want to put you in a trance, hook you within the first 15 seconds of my video, and then, maybe make you fall in love with my personality and content so that you keep watching and eventually fall down the rabbit hole that is my YouTube channel. Now, I think my content is pretty innocuous, so even if you were to watch it all, I don't think I'd radicalize you too much. Like, you be aight. You're not gonna do anything out of pocket, don't worry. But imagine if I wasn't the kind and benevolent person that I am. What if I had malice? What if I wanted to manipulate you for my own personal gain? Once I got you hooked on my content, it would all be pretty easy to do, and I'm just one person, one channel, amongst a sea of millions, potentially billions of people online, all vying for your precious attention. Now, imagine how much power an entire social media platform has over you, an algorithm that controls what you do and don't see, what you do and don't get to engage with. And then imagine the people that own and control those social media platforms, the disgusting amount of power that they have. So what do? Well, here's the problem. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't actually figured that one out yet. I'm just here to fearmonger and complain, you feel me? I could just say get off social media, and that would be a good idea in theory, but it's not a sustainable suggestion, and I know that. That's kind of a cop-out at this point. I mean, since 2020, our society has shifted in a way where social media occupies an integral part of most people's daily lives, and in fact has become somewhat a replacement for the social interaction that we're supposed to be getting through natural, talking, human to human interaction, but that's been replaced by social media. But what I think you can do is become aware of your attention, aware of who you're giving it to, aware of what you're paying attention to, and then don't ignore the implications of those decisions. We aren't really taught to value our attention spans. I mean, we value our bodies, we value our appearance, but attention is something so transient and inexplicable that most of us don't even take the time out of our days to think about it. But I think attention is precious, and we should treat it as such. It is precious and it is scarce because you don't know how much of it you're going to get in your life. And once it's gone, it's gone. Once you're gone, you're gone. I have this fear that when I die, if I was able to see a stats highlight reel of all of the things I had spent my time doing, that I would be extremely disappointed in the amount of time that I spent in my life essentially just staring at a screen. I mean, I love watching TV, I love going on YouTube, I love scrolling, I love watching funny videos and looking at little memes, but all of those activities are essentially just staring at a screen and nothing really more than that. I mean, how much of my life have I missed out on because I was too busy staring at a screen? Who would I be? What interests would I have if I didn't occupy so much of my time being on social media and the internet? And I miss that person. The person that I could be, the person that I don't know and will never get to know because I've spent so much of my life, willingly or unwillingly, completely devoted to the almighty screen. So while you are here, try to be cognizant of what you're paying attention to. Try to give your attention to things that actually add value to your life, because every second that you spend here is a second that you're never going to get back. Anyway, I hate to get all existential, boohoo, sad, at the end of the video, but what is life for if not contemplating all of your mistakes and the disastrous nature of society as it crumbles beneath you? But I would love to hear what you think down in the comments. I like talking to you guys down there. Please leave a like and subscribe so that I can get that nasty little algorithm boost. And of course, the dopamine hit that comes along with you liking my videos and subscribing. And yes, it does give me a dopamine hit. And as we've established in this video, that is incredibly important. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.